What happens when the holiday villa you've booked just doesn't exist?
My first clue that something might be amiss should have been that at 3 in the morning, people were emailing me back and telling me, oh yes, we have availability for next week.
A search for serenity in Cambodia, and things you never knew you needed with Tommy Sandu. Hello, I'm Fiona Foster. Welcome to Fast Track. Now this year, just like last year, for our family summer holiday, I've booked a villa in Europe, direct from the owners on a website. The villa looks great in the photos. It's near the sea, it's got marvellous views. I was feeling pretty pleased with myself, until stories began to emerge of holidaymakers just like me, turning up for their villa holidays and finding things weren't quite what they seemed.
Our reservation was for 6F. There was only 5 blocks and then you go up 4 floors.
This young British couple were very much looking forward to spending a week in Spain in a luxurious apartment by the sea. But when they turned up, nobody at the complex there knew anything about them. The property they'd paid over $1,500 to rent simply didn't exist.
We were so excited about this place because we couldn't believe that we'd got such a good deal. And obviously when we arrived, you know, we were gutted. We were gutted because we were just literally left with nothing.
They'd booked online with someone claiming to be a legitimate agent. They'd spoken to him on the phone and had even received contracts. According to police, scams like this are an increasing problem, as more and more of us choose to book villas and apartments directly, often with the owners themselves.
The self-catering market has been growing faster than the travel market as a whole over the last 5 years, and it's certainly something that is set to continue. But there's also a large supply of holiday homes which are still to come onto the market. An increasing number are coming online because people are recognising that actually it's quite straightforward to rent it out and to make some money.
But while the vast majority of renters are genuine, stories of bogus vacation rentals have been cropping up everywhere, from Italy to Austria, from France to the US. The problem for the consumer is that here's an area of holiday booking that's becoming more and more popular, and yet it remains totally unregulated. What that means is that it's left to individual websites to decide if and how they check who advertises with them. The non-profit organisation Prevention of Fraud in Travel encourages its members to share ideas on how to beat the scammers.
It's about alerting each other when they come across a villa that they know is definitely fraudulent. It's about if you see somebody that you have rejected on your website because you've checked them out and found them to be fraudulent.
Some websites rigorously vet those who take out ads, while others act as financial middlemen.
Holidaymakers pay their money to us, and then we look after the money and only transfer it for new owners when the holiday has successfully taken place.
For this kind of scam to work, money has to be transferred directly from holidaymaker to owner. Journalist Bridget Schulte was having trouble finding somewhere reasonably priced to stay in New York City until she had a look on an internet bulletin board very late one night.
All of a sudden, I found these beautiful looking apartments for $100 a night, $150 a night in these great locations, and it just seemed like a dream come true. My first clue that something might be amiss should have been that at 3 in the morning, people were emailing me back and telling me, oh yes, we have availability for next week.
Bridget found herself being pressured into sending money by wire transfer for a gorgeous 2-bedroom penthouse with access to a pool and fitness club. Despite her growing misgivings, she prepared to wire $1,000 to the so-called owner.
started to fill out the form, ready to send $1,000, and it was really the guy at the Western Union counter who said, "Have you met this guy?" I said, "No." "Have you talked to him?" I said, "No." "Do you know that this is a real apartment?" I'm like, "No." He said, "I wouldn't do it."
So Bridget walked away and immediately went back online to discover the same pictures for her apartment advertising an entirely different property. The scam left Bridget feeling foolish and angry. Turning up at your dream holiday villa to find out it's just that, a dream, can be upsetting to say the least. So what can you do to make sure that it doesn't happen to you?
One thing to watch out for is some of the wire transfer operations where there is that lack of ability to see clearly where the money's going. If it's a brand new property, then you might want to ask the owner for some more questions about the property. Again, see if you can get some other reviews from past customers. Alarm bells should potentially ring if the property looks too cheap. So if it's too good to be true, it normally is. If it's a stunning property and is on at a rock bottom price, that should cause alarm bells to ring. If the advert has suddenly slashed the price by 50, 60%, and other properties in that area haven't done so, then that would be suspicious activity.
Unfortunately, it's a lesson which many people have learnt the hard way.
Good, smart, trusting people get in these really crummy situations because you are trusting and because you want a good deal and you want to have a great place at a great price. It's a pretty human thing.
So the moral of this tale is buyer or renter, in this case, beware and always follow your instincts. And if you've got a villa scam story for us, or you've got some good tips on how to avoid it, we'd love to hear from you. You can email us at our usual address at fasttracktravel@bbc.co.uk. Now let's have a look at what else is making the news in the world of travel this week.
Travellers to Egypt have been warned to steer clear of political rallies after demonstrators have been killed in violent protests in Cairo. The UK's Foreign and Commonwealth Office is amongst a growing number of embassies alerting their citizens to the risk of further demonstrations in the Egyptian capital and across the country, which may also become violent. Several cruise ship companies are cancelling stops in the Mexican Pacific port of Mazatlan because of crimes against tourists. Disney, as well as Holland America, are among the operators to have changed their itineraries, while Carnival Cruises is also said to be considering missing out on Mazatlan. The Mexico port city has continued to thrive as a tourist destination despite drug gang violence in other parts of Sinaloa state, which has one of the highest murder rates in the country. The battle between airlines and global distribution systems, which we reported on last week's Fast Track, has taken a new turn. American Airlines and Sabre have agreed to put their legal battle over how tickets are sold on hold. It all started when American Airlines schedules and fares were withdrawn from two leading online travel websites run by Expedia and Orbitz. Litigation has been suspended until June the 1st, and in the meantime, the two companies hope to find a resolution. China has replaced Spain as the world's third most visited country, trailing behind France and the United States, according to the UN World Tourism Organization. Almost 56 million international tourists visited China last year, up 10%. France remained in top spot with 79 million visitors, followed by the United States with just over 60 million. And where not to stay in Europe. Travel website TripAdvisor has named and shamed Europe's 10 dirtiest hotels, based on feedback and ratings from millions of its members and travellers. The list of shame is dominated by just 3 destinations: London, Amsterdam, and Turkey's Aegean coast. The 2 Turkish hotels top the list, followed by 4 properties each in London and Amsterdam.
Stay with us, because coming up in just a minute, our resident techno geek Tommy Sandu is here with a look at the latest travel gadgets, including a luggage tag that won't save your life but may save your holiday. And Michelle Yanachan travels to Cambodia, away from the usual tourist traps, in search of spirituality.
Now everyone knows pets and hotels don't mix. Dogs will eat the chocolate on your pillow and the cleaning staff hate picking cat hair out of the shower. However, Pet Lovers Hotel claims to help you find destinations that welcome your canine, feline or maybe even bovine friend with open arms. There's also grooming tips and advice from airlines, along with ideas on how you can cope with the stress of travelling without resorting to doggy daycare. Pocket Sherpa's a nifty travel guide that can turn you from a fumbling tourist to a nerdy know-it-all. Spin the globe, pick a country and learn all there is to know about your destination. It gives you access to local experts and services, so you can book a night tour in Indonesia or get Aussie Dave to help you plan a themed wedding. If that all gets a bit too much, you can just sit back and watch the world spin by while your battery slowly drains.